And now, back to Lee Elci on 94.9 News Now.
All right, very pleased to bring on our good pal, Tony D'Angelo. Again, he is with, he's with Fortress Fiduciary, part of Paragon, and we appreciate him coming on every once in a while, talking about some different stuff going on in the world of money and business. And today, Tony, first, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, and good morning to everyone.
Well, first, we're going to talk today, I guess, or we're going to talk today about the budget issues and finances here in the state of Connecticut. And, well, it's close enough, I guess, to Halloween to scare the blank out of everybody. So go ahead.
I'll tell you, man, this is frightening. I'm cautioning anybody listening in a car to hang on to your coffee cup and don't send it flying all over that nice new carpet. Total budget's about $19.5 billion, give or take. Now, the benefits, salaries, and pensions within that parameter are 40%, $7.8 billion for quote-unquote the servicing of state employees. Now, you do need people working in the state. I'm not going to, say that you don't. But the population, Lee, of our entire state is 3.6 million people. That's less than a half of New York City. And like, for one example, our court system, we have all kinds of courts doing all kinds of things. In New York City, you have one court per county. Now, they're twice the size of us, and this is how, and you can argue that New York is not a rational state, and believe me, I have a lot. But comparatively, I mean, it's getting choked by administration. Now, a little bit of math. If we take the state spending per person, it's about maybe $30,000 for a family of four. I mean, I'm handing more of that away in what I'm getting in state services. Pensions, $2 billion a year. There's funny calculations in that. It often includes mileage allowances and things. And here's really the killer. To fund pensions for 10 years, to actually have enough money to fund these pensions, and a little bit of interest you can get, you need $16 billion with a B. We don't have that kind of money anywhere, so guess where they're going to get it? You, me, and everybody else listening.
Right.
It's absolutely terrible, and I could go on and on and on and on. I will tell you this, and this is just kind of one kicker. It's got to be something else other than tax the rich guy.
Right.
In 2017, we had 6 billionaires in the state. By the end of the year, 3 of them left. Mm-hmm. Carl Icahn took his entire operation out of New York and moved it to Florida. These are not stupid people, folks. They don't get to where they are by being stupid. It's not that they don't want to pay taxes. They understand that they do, but if you oppress them, they're going to go. And I'm just going to add just one thing. My friend Bob Swick, the economist who helps me out a lot on these research statistics, often tells me, says, Connecticut is a command economy. The state budget, Department of Economic Development, how that all runs together. And command economies are economies where people, shall I say, the government kind of directs the flow. The government believes it is the economic force. And as I thought about it the other day, I was walking the dog. I said, Lee, command economies, Russia, Venezuela, Poland, none of them end well.
Right.
And that's the thing that really concerns me here in this state, living and, doing business.
What happens, I don't know if you know the answer to this. I ask it, and sometimes I get a lukewarm answer, never satisfying. What happens when we do eventually run out of money to these people who have worked for the state of Connecticut for as long as they've worked, and they go to their mailbox in Florida to get a check, and it's got a lot of zeros on it because we don't have any money to pay them their pension money? What happens then?
Think of Hershey, Pennsylvania. Think of Johnston, Rhode Island. Think of Detroit. You get on a very long line, and you see that's really and you've hit on it, which is implosion. It implodes from within. So when it implodes to the fabric of that segment of the population that was depending on it, literally all hell breaks loose.
So shouldn't the employees of the state? Now, I never am in favor of taking back what was bargained for. It's not really fair. It's not the state employees' fault. It's actually it's the former governors and the former people who negotiated with these folks. But there's got to be a point of common sense somewhere along the line where, if I'm worried that I'm actually going to get that check when I retire after working 20 years in the prison system, I may come to the table and say, let's figure this out so that, not only do we get our money, but the people of the state of Connecticut aren't hung out to dry.
Well, what you're really talking about is honesty, clarity, and transparency. And I think, and I had this discussion yesterday with somebody about our state tax system, blame any politician you want, but you have to blame them all. No one's been very honest here with how grave this crisis is, as opposed to, a lot of carping and finger pointing, and you did this and you did that, and whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's really a case of, and oftentimes history will show us, and you're absolutely right, it happens too late. When the automobile companies came into Washington in 2007 and 2008, I mean, they had partied the walls off of this thing, and then they came and said, give us the money. And it was, wouldn't it be better if we had come a year or two sooner? It has to happen, and I'm just not really feeling that it's going to be a something that anybody really wants to confront. But honestly, Lee, they need to do it.
Yeah. Now, I know that they changed some of the plans here. There was the Tier 1, the Tier 2, the Tier 3, and, supposedly we were supposed to get away from this pension plan and get into a contribution kind of plan where both sides put into a 401k. Are we there yet?
No.
No, that's amazing, isn't it?
No, not at all. And I mean, it's the kind of thing that when you look at the present value of one of these pensions, this is another thing. I'm very glad you brought that up. The pension obligation in the state every year can't be funded. It's like $19 million. There's at least 10, 11, 12 people who are making over the federal maximum defined benefit of $225,000 a year. I mean, point of fact, illegal, but somehow they're doing it. And the statistics are there in transparency.gov. I don't go around making this stuff up.
Yeah. Listen, it is a pretty sweet deal if you can get it with the state employees who do have it. I mean, like I said, I don't blame them. They did what they needed to do. They were smarter than me. But I tell you, I know folks who are making over $100,000 who sat at a desk and, never had to pull their gun out, never had to run after anybody, yet they get hazard pay just because of, where they are and how they are. It's incredible. It really is. So.
Well, and there are things we can do constructively. I mean, anybody in any kind of business knows that you save money when you slash administrative costs and you remove redundancies.
Yep.
Here we like redundancies. Takes us back to the beginning of our discussion, which is the fact of, New York City has 7 courts, and how many do we have?
Unbelievable. Hey, great stuff today, my friend.
Always happy to do it, my friend.
All right, have a good one. Tony D'Angelo. Tony D, we appreciate him from Fortress Fiduciary Company, a division of Paragon Trust, and we thank him for his expertise in some of this stuff and just kind of, leading us around, letting us know what's happening.